Hi, I'm Chris,
I'm Kaitlyn.
and I guess this is our story.
Yeah. We met for the first time online in 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2023.
So we talked about all the heavy stuff on our first date, and we were kind of asking each other at one point, like, what are your red flags? Like, you know you better than anybody else. So what are the things that you would kind of tell people to look out for? He says I used the word confess,
You did.
that I needed to confess something. I'm planning on not having sex until marriage.
Whenever I heard that, it seemed like time started to move really slow, and it was my light bulb moment. To me, that was when I decided, okay, this is the thing that I need to do different this time. In every relationship prior to this one, I found myself, chasing that dopamine high of, maybe if I get intimate, I have sex with this girl, it'll be better, it'll be more worth it, or maybe, if I try something different here, and never really centering intimacy and sex around my emotions, more just like the physical attraction side of it. I felt confident at that point to say, you know what, let's give that a try. Like I want to try that because I think this is the type of commitment that I need in my life.
We made that commitment in August of 2023, and almost 2 years. We're still working towards developing intimacy in like emotionally, getting to know each other like on a deeper level as people, because we wanted that to be at the forefront of our relationship, and like our spiritual intimacy as well. I would say, I think from the very beginning, we put some boundaries in place, which is not to say we haven't like fallen short and slipped up in places where we kind of had to go back and reevaluate, but we put some boundaries in place. I think having that conversation and being honest about what we wanted from a relationship from the very beginning was really helpful.
My only reference for sex was just porn, really. I would say it was an addiction, and like I said earlier, it was just me chasing that dopamine. So anytime we would get to a point where things would get a little intense and I would feel myself slide toward the edge of that boundary, I would find myself saying like, hey, don't cross it. Like, don't push yourself toward that, because after that you're going to regret it. You're going to beat yourself up, and that's not what you want for you. That's not what you want for this relationship. That's not what you want for you know just your own mentality's sakes.
And I think another boundary that we set right away that has really helped is we decided we weren't going to live together until we were married, because we both have done that in the past, in past relationships. And I think that doing so kind of became a slippery slope into acting like playing house, acting like we were married to other people and in those previous relationships. And when we didn't have that level of commitment, I know in the past I felt like I overlooked a lot of things in people that I knew I wouldn't mesh with, just because I had already developed that intimacy with them in different ways. Sexual immorality is the only sin that you sin against yourself. I think that verse and that idea is, I think people look at it as like a way, like a rule that God is putting in place to kind of box you in, but considering it more as a form of protection in terms of waiting till marriage saves you from a whole lot of emotional baggage. I think we both had a little bit of like previous church trauma and relationship trauma from not waiting initially. This relationship has had so much less miscommunication, less arguments, less like baggage carried into it because we dealt with that stuff. So in terms of like how God has blessed our relationship thus far, I think that there have been a lot of pros, but we're engaged now. So that's the best one. We're hoping to get married soon. And I think just starting off with a firm foundation, and not as much baggage going into it, having dealt with all that stuff first, has been the biggest blessing. Yeah.